The basic unit of life is the cell. Cells are the smallest and simplest living organisms that can perform all the functions necessary for life. Cells are the building blocks of all living things from bacteria to humans. Cells have different shapes, sizes, and structure depending on their functional type. All living things are made of one or more cells, and cells arise from pre-existing cells by division. There are two main types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic cells are the simplest and most ancient forms of life. They lack a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles and have a single circular chromosome. Prokaryotic cells include bacteria and archaea, which are other found in extreme environments. Eukaryotic cells are more complex and have a nucleus that contain multiple linear chromosomes and other membrane-bound organelles that perform specialized functions. Eukaryotic cells include protists, fungi, plants, and animals. Although cells vary in size, shape, and function, they share some common features. All cells are surrounded by a plasma membrane that regulates the passage of substances into and out of the cell. All cells also contain cytoplasm, a fluid-like substance that fills the cell and contains various molecules and structures. All cells also have genetic material, DNA or RNA, that stores the information of proteins, which are the main molecules that carry out the function of the cell. Some of the important structures found in the eukaryotic cells are: nucleus is the largest organelle that contains the genetic material DNA organized into chromosomes. The nucleus controls the activities of the cell and is surrounded by a double membrane called the nuclear phylum. Mitochondria is the organelle that produce energy for the cell and by breaking down glucose in a process called cellular respiration. They are the powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria have all their own DNA and can divide from the cell. Endoplasmic reticulum is a network membrane that extends from the nuclear envelope and is involved in protein synthesis and transport. There are two types of ER. Rough ER, which has ribosomes attached to it and makes proteins for export of or insertion into membranes, and smooth ER, which lacks ribosomes and make lipids, fats, and detoxifies drugs. Golgi apparatus is a stack of flattened membrane that receives proteins from the ER and modifies them by adding sugars or other groups. The Golgi apparatus also sorts and packages protein into vesicles, small sacs for transport to other parts of the cell or outside the cell. It consists of flattened membranes called cisternae. Lysosomes are the organelles that contain digestive enzymes that break down non-organelles, foreign substances, or food particles. It digests cell waste. And lysosomes also play a role in immunity in apoptosis, programmed cell death. The organelles that contain enzymes that break down fatty acids, amino acids, and hydrogen peroxide. Peroxisomes also help to protect the cell from oxidative stress. Cytoskeleton is the network of protein fiber that gives shape, support, and movement to the cell. The cytoskeleton consists of three types of filaments: microtubules, which are hollow that form tracks for organelle movement and from the spindle during cell division; macroplasm, which are the thin strands that enable cell contraction, crawling, and pinching; and intermediate filaments, which are rope-like fibers that provide mechanical strength to the cell. Cilia and flagella are hair-like or whip-like extensions of the plasma membrane that help with cell movement or moving substances along the surface of the cell. Cilia are short and numerous, while flagella are longer and close. Both cilia and flagella have a core structure called an axoneme, which consists of 9 pairs of microtubules arranged around a central pair. Cell wall is a rigid layer that surrounds the plasma membrane of some cells, such as plant cells, fungal cells, and some protist cells. The cell wall provides support, protection, and shape to the cell. The cell wall is mainly composed of cellulose plants, chitin and fungi, and peptidoglycan and bacteria. Producing simple can require studious planning and execution. Is it possible for such diverse and multifunctional object like cell to form and work on its own? Producing simple can require studious planning and execution.